Hi, today on Last Blocks, I'm going to show you how to make the Gigi pattern. Welcome back. I'm starting something new. I really hope I'm pronouncing this right. It's the Gigi, G-I-G-I. So I hope it's Gigi Square, the Gigi Square pattern. This was put out earlier this year by QuiltCakes. Amanda over there has some really fun projects and I like to follow her on Instagram. And when this one came through my newsfeed, it caught my eye because of the colors. And she used all kinds of different colors or all kinds of different blues. I love blue, anything from navy to aqua and everything in between. I love blues. And so this one came up and I thought, ooh, that looks kind of fun. I wonder if I could do it with a layer cake. And as I was looking at the pattern, I thought, you know what? I think I might be able to do that. So a layer cake is, that one's actually a Moda name, but if you hear layer cake, that's anything that is a 10-inch square. So this one I'm using today is Daisy Fields. It's by Riley Blake, by Beverly McCollough is the one that I actually picked out for this. And what's cool about this is you get 42 10-inch squares, and you get at least one of each fabric. And so instead of having to go and buy a little bit of every bolt, you can buy a layer cake and you'll get all the fabulous fabrics. So this one has flowers and bees and gingham and dots and words and all kinds of fun things in here. So of course it has the blue, which is why I decided I picked this one up. Okay, so I'm gonna first look at this pattern and walk you through how I make my decisions. So the Gigi square pattern, it is all squares. You're not gonna have any half square triangles. You're not gonna have any flying geese or quarter square triangles. And so it's gonna be very beginner friendly. You're just gonna line up seams. We're gonna have to make sure we line up our seams. But other than that, I think it's gonna be fairly easy to do. So then I look at my fabric requirements. I ordered the PDF online so I can just print it up. And she put in here 4 different sizes. And you can use fat quarters, you can use half yards, or it says charm packs. Charm packs are 5-inch squares. So if you put 4 charm packs together, what do you get? A layer cake. Come on, I didn't mean to make you do math right now. But, so I like to use as much of my layer cake at one time because I don't want to have any leftovers. What do you do with leftovers? I don't know. And so, I'm gonna look on here, and the largest quilt I can make with 4 charm packs, which will give me a layer cake, is the large throw. So it's gonna be 66 by 82. I need 4 charm packs. I need a background fabric. And I like to use white. I honestly just like a nice clean background. And this is actually Snow. It's an off-white by Kona Cotton. To make things easy on me, I use 2 different whites. They're both Konas. One of them is white for the white, and the other one is Snow for an off-white. These ones lean towards, the whites in here lean toward more of an off-white. So I'm gonna use Snow. Makes it easy because then I don't have to worry about all these different whites hanging around my house. And I can buy them multiple yards at one time over at Joann's. Gives me backing. I'm not quite ready for backing yet. And binding. So If you want your binding to match the fabric line, you want to get it at the same time. This quilt doesn't have any borders, so I don't need any yardage, but I think I might actually go back and get me some binding fabric before my favorite quilt still runs out. Ooh, like this gingham might be super fun on the edges. Okay, I can't give you all the cut sizes because, well, it's not my pattern. But what it does tell me, it tells me an introduction, it tells me what I'm gonna need for each block. And then depending on what I end up using, it tells me how to cut from yardage, how to cut from half yards or fat quarters, and how to cut my 12 or from my charm pack. So that's the information I'm going to use. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through this quilt. I'm going to put it together. I might do a little bit of here and there. I'll have you watch me put together my last block, put it all together, and then I'm going to come back and tell you what I think of the pattern, if it was good, well, not really good, but is it beginner friendly or is it more advanced? And I want to give you an honest opinion on, as a beginner quilter, is this something you want to go and tackle? So I'm going to start cutting, and then we will get this fun quilt put together. With the last thing I wanted to show you, this is, so she gives you a coloring page in case you want to color, how you want your blocks to lay out. And then here, the large throw, it shows me what it's going to look like when it gets done. I'm going to have 4 blocks across and 5 blocks down. So let's get started. Okay, so here it is. It's all done. I have long armed it and put on the binding. So there's the front. Isn't it beautiful? I put a minky back on it, long armed it on the machine, and then I did a faux double binding that I do on most of my quilts. I do plan to teach you how to do that someday, so hopefully it's soon. I don't know. Okay, so what did I think about this pattern? I love working with layer cakes, and so I love this pattern because it is a layer cake pattern. I was able to lay out this quilt pattern so that I used up all of my layer cake pieces. Especially when it comes to a layer cake, I really don't like to have a lot of extra fabric left over. I'd rather just make a quilt that can use up all my fabric. So this has several different sizes, and it allowed me to do that. Let's see, what else did I like about it? Lots of squares. There's nothing like half square triangles or flying geese. It's very beginner friendly, and if you don't want to worry about any points or diagonal seams, that's actually really nice to have. Let's see, I love the layout. I love that it's on point and that there's sashing. The pattern was very easy to follow. There was only one thing that wasn't my favorite, and I think it just has to depend on how the pattern is written and what are my preferences, because everybody has their own preferences. These quilt blocks are put on point. If you notice, the square of my block goes like this, so it's on point. See how it's laid out, so on point. And when I was sewing this together, these were all squares. And if you looked at one of my time lapse
videos, I had to do a lot of trimming. And so I trimmed off a whole bunch of fabric. The only reason why that might be a little complaint or gripe is because I really try to be frugal with my fabric buying, and I'd rather not trim off as much fabric as I did in this. I know quilting can become expensive, and um, I'd rather save that fabric for something else. I did hold on to it in case I could use it somewhere else, but it's probably going to end up in my scrap bin for a while until I get to a point where I can use it. Other than that, I love this pattern. So if you want to go check her out on Instagram, that would be great. And you could purchase this pattern or another one yourself. Other than that, I loved how it turned out, and I'm super excited to give it to my friend. Her birthday's coming up next month, so that is why I wanted to get it all finished. So I just wanted to remind you that we are in the middle of a giveaway. Go back to my last video. It came out on October 3rd, and it will tell you the specifics on how you can enter. Make sure you leave the comments in that video. It just helps me get everybody in one spot so I can figure out how to do the drawing. There is a drawing for 2 different things. There's one for those that are in the US and one for those that are outside the US, just because it's a little easier on me that way. So go check out that video October 3rd and get signed up for the giveaway. Last but not least, let me show you what I've been working on. I finished my quilt blocks for this pattern. It's time to get them laid out and figure out how I want them to go. I'm excited for this all to come together. And I got another quilt long-armed this week, which is super fun. I sure like to be able to do that. So other than that, that's it. I hope you guys are having a great week. I will see you next week for another tutorial, and happy sewing!